Welcome back to r/prorevenge. This subreddit is all about people getting insane amounts of revenge. Let's start the story. How I made the worst employer in the world lose a multi-million-dollar account. To be honest, the I in the title is not me, but a former colleague who does not have a Reddit account. We worked together in the same ad agency. I will give my personal context first and then write her story exactly as she told me. We worked together in one of the biggest ad agencies in my country. She was a director and I was a manager in different departments. It was a global group, but it honestly sucked. I quit because I was burned out. It had a Game of Thrones politics and daily occurrences of both sexual and moral harassment. That place was the worst professional experience and one of the worst personal ones I have ever had. Now for the story. It is a long one. English not our first language. Mobile. I was hired as an account director for a huge ad agency. Let's call it FFC. My account was one of the top 5 accounts in the agency and was worth at least 7 digits. My boss, the accounts VP, was one of the worst human beings I have ever met. He was sexist, rude and liked to play favorites. When I got there, as a young and okay looking woman, I instantly became one of his faves. He was married BTW. One day we left a happy hour together and he offered me a ride. I lived nearby him, so not overthinking it I accepted. He made a move on me. I politely refused and left the car. After that, my life became a living hell. He would not include me in important meetings and then complain I didn't know things that were discussed. My reviews went from 5 stars to 1. He pretended he didn't remember a raise he had promised. He would talk with my team and ignore me, the work, which was already hard. I worked 80 hours a week, became unbearable. I almost quit. I had a long conversation with the agency HR, which went nowhere, because she was his personal friend. I even escalated it to the president, with whom I had a friendly relationship, and he said I was reading too much into things. One thing I did right though is that I had a great relationship with my client, so they were afraid to fire me. I had helped save the account, which was almost lost when I was hired. So they played a smart hand. They hired a girl who had worked with my client on his former company, with whom he had a friendly relationship with, to replace me. They then put me aside on a smaller account, which was on the verge of being lost, so they could justify firing me when that happened. But then I got lucky. My original client got promoted and opened a marketing manager position under him. When I applied, he even skipped a few hiring steps. This was October and I was to start on January. I asked him not to disclose to the agency he had hired me until I had the chance to tell them myself. The position would not work directly with the ad agency and I no longer managed their account, so there was no conflict of interest and he said okay. Honestly he couldn't care less. I was planning on giving them my 1-month notice, required in my country, on November, so they could have time to find someone else. I was fired the 31st of October. It would have been the worst experience in the world if I cared. The VP asked me in his office to fire me. He said no one would believe me, that I would never find another job in the market, that I had ratted him out to HR, that I was incompetent and all the worst things someone could have said. He sent me to HR to sign some papers and told me to leave the building afterwards. I recorded him. When I went to HR, the woman in charge sat me down and kept making snark comments about me not appreciating working in one of the biggest ad agencies in the world, that I could have been great. It was surreal. Being fired in my country grants people a fair amount of money. I would have received around 5 months pay per the law. She wanted me to sign papers accepting that. I said no and played her the record from the VP. She went pale because she knew that was a lawsuit, and also that the global team would not like it at all. I left that day and said I would contact them through my lawyer. Never said anything about the job lined up. The next week my lawyer, my recording and a bunch of other documents, emails, text messages, sat down with the agency to negotiate. I ended up with over 15 months pay. Both parts signed a NDA, which included me saying I had quit. I then took a 2-month vacation, told my new boss I had made a deal while quitting, but that I had not disclosed I was going to work for them. He said he would tell them himself, not to worry. Comes January and I start at my new job. My boss then tells me that, since I was the one with the most experience in advertising agencies, I would be a consultant to the annual deals for all the agencies that managed all their accounts. This included allowing new agencies to pitch for us. My boss, which didn't deal with FFC anymore, of course forgot to tell them about me. No feeling in the world was better than entering the agency as a client. It was almost orgasmic sitting in a meeting to see their pitch and watching the VP dumbstruck face when he entered the room. I was nothing but nice, made pertinent questions and smiled all the way through. I ended up telling my boss in confidence what had happened. He authorized me to advise against the agency, said that if compliance knew about their behavior they would lose the account anyway. They lost the account. They lost 3 other accounts in that same year. The whole leadership was fired. The agency closed. The VP can't find a job for his life. And I just got promoted. TLDR. Sexually harassed employee gets fired. Strikes a deal using recordings. Gets hired by one of the agency's clients and makes them. That was the video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. See ya. Hit the like and subscribe, smash the like, hit the bell, scream and yell, watch the next video, watch them all, like them all, put it on loop, keep on doing that, swoop swoop swoop, I'm so cool, I go and stop.